Elizabeth Scala here from elizabethscala.com. Another video in our routine series. Another question or comment or story from a email subscriber came in and I wanted to address it, and the topic being very mindful of confidentiality and privacy. I will read parts of this and keep this person anonymous. Someone sent me an email and says, thanks for your refreshing emails. I'm having a difficult time where I made a mistake and got a final written warning on my record. Went back to work. They put me on solid nights and refused annual leave. Anyways, won't tell me the long story short, but I wrote back to this particular individual and asked how they wanted me to share this. And, you know, she says, don't worry about posting the details. Just raise the importance of colleagues supporting nurses who've made mistakes. Feel like colleagues have sort of closed off from her since this mistake and not contacting her and feeling very abandoned. And so to address this notion of sort of being put out by colleagues after making a mistake, she also makes mention that the suicide rate of nurses and doctors who have made a mistake is very high. And that's really unsettling to me on so many levels, in terms of the fact that if a mistake is made, then colleagues are sort of pushing people to the side. That's not very nurse-like behavior, since I thought as a nurse we were caring, compassionate, and non-judgmental, things we learned in common nursing school. So that right there is troubling to me. Secondly, I want to point out there is, I'm going to look at my computer real quick, make sure I have the exact site. A wonderful nurse who's also a lawyer, who I've had on my podcast in the past, who we have done book reviews for each other, who we've certainly collaborated on many occasions, named Lori Brown. So I would certainly recommend her. She is an expert in terms of, as I said, being a nurse and a lawyer, helping nurses with these sorts of problems, with license challenges, with warnings, with trial, all this sort of stuff, having that legal background. So if anyone needs that sort of support in terms of what to do about nursing licensure, or needing, you know, legal advice, I would recommend Lori, and her website is empowerednurses.org. empowerednurses.org. And right at the top there, she has license protection, a contact, all that sort of stuff. So certainly for that, but what about for the soul? You know, if this happens to this particular nurse, how likely is she going to want to get into another nursing role, surround herself with other nursing colleagues? You know, the trust factors. Once you have that sense of rejection, it's very hard to build trust for colleagues and people in general. I have some previous rejection and trust issues myself, so having worked on that, I certainly can understand how isolating those feelings of abandonment can be. So for that, I would certainly recommend some self-growth, some self-love, some nurturing you. So maybe those colleagues just weren't the people for you. And as we move on, we have to let that part of our lives go. We have to release that energy. We have to literally, whether we do it through ritual, maybe we write something down on a piece of paper about this experience and go outside and do a process of burning it in a fire and letting it go. We need to let go of this painful experience that has happened to us in nursing, because if we remain attached to it, it certainly will hold us back from moving forward. So my first recommendation for this particular nurse, or anyone who's had a troubling experience in nursing, is to recognize if you are still holding on to this as a process, if you're still attached to the people or the feelings or, what was said, what was done, does that bring up, very recent emotion? And my first step in that would be to learn or work through, even if hiring help is necessary, to let that go, to release that negative energy. It's essentially energy, to those thoughts, their limiting thoughts, beliefs, and then how you interact with people in the future will certainly be related to if you're holding on to that or not. Now that's the first process, and so that takes time. I don't know if you could see behind me, but a whole bookshelf here. Lots of books, business books, but lots of books on self-growth and healing, which I've had to do. So letting go would certainly be the first step. And then once you have moved into this set space of healing, being open to possibility is what I would recommend. Being open to opportunities, being open to the fact that there will be nurses and colleagues, professional colleagues in your future that will not treat you in the same vein. Being clear on what it is you want out of your nursing career and who you want to surround yourself with, and then trusting that those professional colleagues are out there waiting for you. I hope you found this somewhat helpful. Again, if you are looking for license or legal advice, I would certainly recommend Lori Brown of empowerednurses.org. And if you want any more help in terms of the soul, spiritual kind of mindset perspective side, go ahead and visit elizabethscala.com. I've got podcasts, blog posts, some resources there, and you can always contact me for further information. So thanks for watching and enjoy the day. Thank you.